Hey friend, welcome to Through the Chanel for Life lens, where we explore real stories on life, love, and growth, one conversation at a time. I'm your host, Nita, also known as Chanel for Life, and around here we live by the 4 S's. We show up, show off, show out, and most importantly, show love for life. Each week, we will dive into topics that inspire, challenge, and connect us because life is a journey and we're in it together. So get comfortable, turn the volume up, and let's get into it. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I'll try again tomorrow. Marianne Redmacher. Hey friend, welcome back to Through the Chanel for Life lens. This isn't the episode I planned for today, but this is where I am. In full transparency, I had an episode ready to go and listened back to it, and I just didn't like it. So I decided to pivot. And at the point that I am right now, today, in this moment, all I can do is show up the best way that I can. So you'll notice there's no video set up, no overproduced format, just me, real talk, and real conversation. Because that's where I am right now in this moment. Some days life just knocks you down. Whether it's your health, your emotions, your circumstances, or just the weight of everything happening at once. And today I am feeling all of it. So you get me, not in my best shape, not in my best form, but in the best that I have to give to you today. As you may know, March is MS Awareness Month, and I am just days away from my next treatment. If you know, then you know that the weeks leading up to your next treatment is pure hell. This is what they call the crap gap, when your body reminds you that treatment is running low and everything hits at once. The leg pain, finger pain, eye pain, fatigue, blurry vision, exhaustion. All of it just comes at once. With the medication that I am on, it's every 6 months. So this crap gap stage hits about a month before treatment is due. And it gets progressively worse leading up until the day of the treatment. The crap gap is that period before treatment where your symptoms hit hard. Your body feels like it's running on empty, and no matter how much rest you get, it's not enough. And this week, these last few days, I felt every bit of it. Yes, I'm feeling it, and I'm feeling it hard. But here's the thing. No matter what we're facing in life, we all have moments where life makes it hard to show up. Today, we're talking about pushing through the hard days when you don't feel like the pain, the fatigue, the exhaustion hitting me all at once. The hardest part about all this is knowing that people can't see it. Someone can ask me how I'm doing. I can say I'm tired, but they don't see the overwhelming exhaustion because tired is definitely an understatement. I could also say I'm in pain, but unless you felt it, you truly don't understand what it's like to have everything hurting at once. And it's frustrating because when something is invisible, people assume that you're fine when that's not the case. And I promise you, these invisible illness battles are sometimes some of the hardest battles that people have to face. One thing I can do is acknowledge the fact and the blessing of having a support system. The importance of having people who step up when you need them the most. My family has been holding me down, picking up where I can't, and honestly, I don't take that for granted because so many people don't have it. And if you're dealing with something like this, and you're fortunate to have people around you, know that you don't have to do it alone. And start to lean on people, lean on your support system when you need to. Because even though these battles are invisible, that doesn't mean they aren't real. And if you have people who support you through them, that's truly a blessing. This episode is proof that sometimes you just have to do what you can with what you have, even if it's not much. Today I'm showing up, and sometimes all you can do is show up. It's not my best right now. We don't have a nice video to go at the podcast. There's no extra energy spent on setting up. It's just the audio and me talking to you. And sometimes that's how it has to be. And that's something I want you to take from this. Your best doesn't always have to look the same. Some days you're at 100% handling everything like a boss. Other days, just getting through the day is enough. Just getting out of the bed is enough. And that's okay. There's so much pressure, especially in the world we live in today, to always perform, to always be productive, to always act like we're fine. But let me say this. You don't have to be at 100% to still show up for yourself. For me, today, my best is just recording this episode. For you, your best might be just getting out of bed, just making it through work, just showing up for your family the best way that you can. Your best will look different on different days, but that doesn't mean you're failing. Now, whether you're dealing with a chronic illness, mental health challenge, burnout, grief, or just life hitting you hard, I know I'm not the only one who may be feeling like this right now. So if you're in a moment where you feel like you're barely getting by, here are a few things I've been reminding myself of these past few weeks. Strength lies in surrender. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is admit that you need rest, help, or a moment to breathe. Strength isn't about fighting through everything. It's about knowing when to pause. And I had a moment like this earlier this week where I was leaning on my support system, but then feeling guilty for leaning on my support system. And I just had to admit, look, I know I'm asking for a lot these days, but I am really struggling. I'm giving all that I can, and I just don't have much to give. These last few days leading up to my treatment have been rough, and I'm doing the best that I can. And not that I needed to explain that to them, not that I needed to apologize for leaning on them, but that's just something internal that I feel like we battle with as people when it comes to having to adjust from what we know to be normal. So they weren't looking for an explanation. I was even told, you don't have to apologize. But within me, I felt like I am really leaning a lot. And I just had to admit, I'm sorry that it's like this, but this last week leading up to this treatment, I'm really going through it. So thank you. The second thing you can do, the second thing I've been reminding myself of, is to adjust, but don't quit. If you can't do it all, then do what you can. Modify it, simplify it, but don't give up on yourself. This episode here is a great example of an adjustment. I listened back to the episode that I had recorded previously. I wasn't liking it. I knew I had to record something else, but I'm not feeling like it. So what do? Yes, because I'm not feeling my best, I could say, oh, I'll just wait until next week. Or I can modify. I can adjust. And I told myself, you don't have to get behind the camera. You don't have to do video. You have a message you want to get out, grab your phone, your microphone, and record the way you did it when you first started podcasting years ago. And that's what I did. I made an adjustment so I could still get out the content that I wanted to get out this week. And I was able to scrap that message that I didn't like too much. And now here we are. So you make adjustments, but you don't quit. And the third thing I've reminded myself of, and what I want to remind you of, is you are more than your hard days. This moment is not your forever. It's just today. Even if today is hard, it's not the end of your story. The hard days may seem unbearable. They may seem very difficult. You may just be like, oh, I cannot wait until tomorrow. And then you may wake up tomorrow and tomorrow is just as hard. But know that it won't always be hard. And one day the sun will shine again. And know that these hard days do not define you, your abilities, your capabilities. They don't define anything within you. It's just simply that, a moment, a tough moment, a hard moment, difficult moment, but it's only a moment, a fleeting moment that will soon be a memory because it will get better. So I want to encourage you to keep pushing through. Even those things, those battles that you fight and face that no one can see, push on through it and keep going. Don't give up. Now, of course, I wanted to do other content this week because we have a lot to talk about. I wanted to talk about the Drink Champs interview and a few other things, but I didn't have that to give. So I didn't even get to record that content. But trust, when I'm feeling better, I'll be back with Drink Champs interview talk and we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program. But for now, I'm taking care of me and I encourage you to take care of you too. So if this episode spoke to you, let me know. Drop a comment, DM me, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, even on your toughest of tough days, when you don't have much to give, remember to show up, show off, show out, and show love for life. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode. I hope this conversation gave you something to think about, something to feel, and something to take with you on your journey. If you love this episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a new one. And if something resonated with you, share it with a friend or drop a review. It helps us to grow this community and keep the good vibes going. Join the conversation on Instagram at Chanel for Life and visit chanelforlife.com for more. And remember, whatever you do in life, show up, show off, show out, and show love for life. I'll see you in the next episode.